Hello everyone, this is the first lesson recording for IM2 September 10th, 2020. For this lesson, it will be very helpful if you had some colored pencils on top of your usual material. Okay, quickly, just some results from the last quiz and for period 2. And so if you would like to improve your grade, what could you do? What should you do? Well, first thing, most important thing you need to do is study or prepare for the unit test next Monday. Okay? If you somehow think you can just walk in there and just do the test and see where the result falls, you're going to find that in high school math, that's not going to fly anymore. Okay, so the topic is going to be anything we covered in class or as homework since the start of the year. It is going to be 45% of your overall grades, so it's going to affect your grades hugely. Okay, also the study sheet, I am not quite sure whether it's going to be ready today, but I am hoping that it will be ready by the end of the day, so please check your Canvas. Second thing you could do is come to study hall to get help. Chances are, if you're struggling, if you got your grades are below 50%, I don't know, even below 70%, chances are you are struggling. Either you are not doing the homework because it's too difficult for you, or you just don't know how to do it, or because you're not motivated. Either way, something has to change. That means you can come to the study hall to get some help so that we can figure out the right way to solve those problems. Okay? And you need to turn in any missing homework, because the last day I will accept any late homework is on the day of the unit test. So please do so. And you can also take a retake on the quiz number 2, the result that you just saw, if you earned below 80%. Okay, so what are we doing today? So we are going to go into parallel line angles, and we're also going to be talking about angles and side relationship in a triangle. Okay, so to do this, you are going to pull out the graphic organizer that you started last lesson. You could certainly print this out. If you have printer access right now, you can do so now, or if perhaps you've done it from the last lesson, I don't know. Okay, all right, so angle pairs in parallel lines. Let's talk about some vocabulary first. Transversal. Transversal is a line that intersects two or more other lines. Okay, simply when you have two lines, then if there is a line that crosses those two lines, two or more lines, that's a transversal. So that red line is a transversal. Okay, this is another example of transversal. So it can go in any direction. Okay, sometimes it is even perpendicular. That is also a transversal. Okay, and when a transversal crosses two parallel lines, there are 8 different angles are formed. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4 angles in the first intersection, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 different angles that are formed. Okay, and from there we have many different angle relationships. We have corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, same side interior angles, and alternate exterior angles. And now you're thinking, oh my goodness, they all sound so complicated. How am I ever going to remember that? Well, I'm going to translate that into plain English first so that we know what those mean first. Okay, first of all, when we're talking about corresponding angles, let's talk about what does corresponding mean in English. Corresponding in English, we're talking about two things that are in the relatively same position. So for example, if you're talking about this Prius car, a drawing of a Prius car versus an SUV, relative position of these two tires or two wheels relative to the steering wheel is to the left. So the front left tires of both cars are not the same size, but they are in the same position relative to the steering wheel. So they are corresponding to each other. Okay, so that's what we say. Okay, so to do this, I am going to turn on my document camera and you're going to pull out your graphic organizer. So we are going to work on some vocabulary first. So this is the graphic organizer that we started. Okay, either you print it out or you wrote it down. And right at the bottom, we're going to start with the corresponding angle theorem. Okay, so we're going to break apart the words. What does corresponding mean that we just talked about? Corresponding just means same relative position. So I am just going to draw a circle here and write same relative position. Okay, and I'm going to get my colored pencil and color two corresponding angles from these two parallel lines. Okay, so if you look at this angle 1 is on the top left corner of the intersection. Which is the angle that is on the top left corner of this intersection? It's angle 5. So these two, angle 1 and angle 5, are corresponding. So angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding. Okay? Do you see another angle that is corresponding, another pair of angles? Well, if I was to talk about this angle 3, it's on the bottom right of the intersection. Bottom right of the intersection here is this one. So they are corresponding angles. So angle 3 and angle 7 are corresponding. Okay, we can also say that the angle 2 are corresponding to angle 6, and then finally angle 4 are corresponding to angle 6. Okay, I'm not going to write it down, but you get the idea. Okay, so it will be helpful if you had color pencils and you did this with me. Okay, then let's go on to the next page, the alternate interior angles theorem. What does alternate mean and what does interior mean? Alternate means opposite sides of transversal. So this alternate means opposite side of the transversal. Okay? In contrast, what does interior mean? Interior means inside the two parallel lines. Actually, it does not have to be parallel, but in this case, these are parallel lines, so I'm going to use that word parallel. It's actually inside the two main lines. So if you're talking about inside the two main lines or two parallel lines, these are the two parallel lines. So we're really talking about inside this area. Okay? When we're talking about alternate, that means opposite side of transversal. Which is the transversal? This is the transversal, right? This line of going across. So we want angle that is inside the two parallel lines, but opposite side of the transversal. And so if I was to draw, okay, this is an angle which is opposite but still inside. Okay, we're not talking about, this is not, it is opposite, but we are not talking about this, but we're talking about this one that is opposite from the transversal. That means on the other side of the transversal, but still inside. Okay, so that's alternate interior angles. Another pair would be number 3 and number 5. This would also be another pair, but I'm not going to color that, just so that it is really clear to you what the pairs are. Okay? Alright, then whatever, let's talk about alternate exterior. Again, alternate just means opposite side of transversal. Okay, opposite side of transversal. And exterior in this case, in contrast to interior, exterior just means outside of two parallel lines. So when we're talking about outside of the parallel lines, these are my two parallel lines. The area that is outside, we're talking about this area. Okay, the angles that are in those area. But we are also talking about opposite. Opposite tells me alternate tells me it's opposite side of the transversal. That means, for example, angle 1 is in the outside of the two parallel lines, which is the one opposite of this transversal. It's this angle, but we're really not talking about that, but we're really talking about this angle. These two are alternate exterior angle. Okay, these two pair. And obviously, this angle, angle 4 and angle 6 is also another pair of alternate exterior angle. Okay, but I'm not going to mark that just not to confuse you. Alright, then let's take about more of the vocabulary. In this case, same side. Same side, that's pretty plain English. Okay, same side just means same side of the transversal. And interior means inside the two parallel lines, or two main lines that, okay, in contrast to the transversal. Okay, and so that means we are looking at interior. Interior means we're looking at this inside the parallel lines, but we are looking at same side. So same side of the transversal, so we can say this angle and this angle is on the same side of the transversal. This is on the same side, it's on to the left of the transversal. Okay, or another pair would be angle number 2, and then angle number 5 would also be another pair. Okay, so this would be another pair of the same side interior angles, and this will be another pair of same side interior angles. Okay, let's keep going. Same side here, that's of the transversal. So whether we're talking about to the right of the transversal or to the left of the transversal. Okay, to the right of the transversal or to the left of the transversal. And this is outside of the two parallel lines. Okay, so we're talking about area right out here. Okay, but we're still talking about the same side, whether we're talking about to the right or to the left, we're talking about the same side. So maybe we can say this angle 1 and angle 6 are the two same side exterior angles. Okay, also another pair that would apply would be angle 4 and angle 7. Okay, so that would be another pair. Okay, so let's explore the corresponding angles. Okay, to demonstrate that, I am going to show you these desmos. Okay, so you have two lines intersecting each other, and if I was to drag these, oops, no, that's changing it. If I was to drag this point, look what happened, and I'm just moving along that line. Okay, when I'm just moving along that line, I started off with the identical angles, but if I move it, notice what's happening. Okay, it's really this angle 50 was really the same angle as 50. This 50 was right on top of the 50 angle there. Okay, and by translation, by transformation, by definition, they are congruent. So what can we say about corresponding angles? This angle and this angle is congruent. Okay, and so we're going to write that in our notes. Okay, so I wrote in that box, corresponding angles of parallel lines are congruent. And I'm going to continue in the next video.